This portion of the John Fredericks Show is brought to you by Hargrave Military Academy. Attend an educational and informative open house event at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. For more information, visit online at hargrave.edu. Hargrave Military Academy. Build his future.
And joining us now is Congressman from the 3rd District of Tennessee that encompasses Chattanooga, Tennessee, United States Representative Chuck Fleischman, a Republican representative. Great to have you with us today right here on the John Fredericks Show.
Well, good morning, sir, and welcome to the great Commonwealth of Virginia. It's great to be with you all today.
It is, and I had Diane Black on the other day. I always have to do this disclaimer. I'm a diehard Tennessee Titans fan, and this season I'm fired up for some reason. I think we're going to win 9 games, squeak into the playoffs. What do you think?
Well, I love to go watch our Titans and our great Tennessee Vols play. I'm a UT alum, but
I'm sorry.
And also another team that has done well. I was talking to some of the members the other day is the Nashville Predators. We have an NHL franchise right in Nashville, in our great state, and I think that's incredible. So this is a team that has gone through an awful lot, but yeah, go Titans, go Preds, and go Tennessee Vols. There's a lot of folks, as you know, Virginia comes very close to my district, and I had one of my sons attend Washington and Lee, so I've spent a lot of time in your great state, and it's always great to visit. In fact, I'll be driving through this week.
Oh, you will? Okay, well, we're happy to have you, and be sure and go through all the toll roads because we need the cash.
Because y'all need it, right?
Yeah, and also if you go through some of these little towns, go about 10 miles over the speed limit, so you can get a speeding ticket for about $200. We need your Tennessee cash here in Virginia. Now, President Obama comes to Chattanooga, has an interesting proposal, but it seems like the same thing, deja vu, pivot, son of stimulus. What do you make of it?
Well, this was a surprise to me. The president comes to our state and our city, which has been a model for everything that the president has fought against. For our listeners in your state, Tennessee is a right-to-work state. It's a state that balances its budget by constitutional amendment every year. It's a state, we have no state income tax in Tennessee. We're one of the lowest regulation states. We've had tort reform. We have done everything to attract business to our great state, to keep business in our great state. And then the president comes in, and this is a president. I'm in my 3rd year of Congress, my 2nd term. I see every day high taxes, high regulations, big government solutions. This is not the way to go for Tennessee. This is not the way to go for America. And he comes in to tout his record in our city and in our state. It was a surprise. It was ironic, and I'm just going to continue to push for the solutions. When I ran for government, when I ran for Congress, I said I wanted to bring Tennessee ideas to Washington, not Washington ideas to Tennessee. And I think these ideas that I'm espousing are going to be good for Tennessee, for Virginia, or all across our great nation.
Congressman Fleischman critiqued the president's corporate tax proposal. I mean, basically what he said is our corporate tax system's a mess. Everybody knows that. We have one of the highest, by the way, corporate tax rates in the free world. And he says, well, we got to fix that, lower corporate taxes, get more companies in, get more companies to expand. Well, that makes sense. But then he's going to take more money and invest it into the economy, which means to me deficit spending beyond the $17 trillion we have.
It means to me more redistribution of wealth on his part is ridiculous. Let's face it, corporate tax rates in America are too high. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world at 35%. As a matter of fact, his proposal, I think, at 28%, we could even go lower than that, I think. But there's something fundamentally that this president does not get. Mr. President, it's the people's money. It's not the government's money. Hardworking Americans create wealth. Big government and big government programs do not. There is the great intellectual and ideological divide between me and this president, and I think the American people and this president. President Obama believes wholeheartedly that it is his job, his duty to go out and find solutions to redistribute wealth. That will destroy this country, and that's what I'm working very hard every day to fight. So we've seen these proposals by him before. Let's face it, he's on this tour because his poll numbers are slipping. We've had scandal after scandal in Washington, D.C. His response is to call these things phony scandals. That doesn't work. So now he comes back with his repackaged ideas, and I like your analogy. Is this stimulus 2, 3, or 4? Who knows? It's just bad policy, bad governance, and it's dead on arrival. It's dead on arrival. What I think we need to do is reform the corporate tax system, get our corporate tax rates lower, but leave this money in the hands of American entrepreneurs and give us some predictability and allow what Ronald Reagan did, allow the American people, the American entrepreneurial spirit to go out and create jobs all across this nation, and it'll take care of itself. That's what the president fails to understand. He thinks big government needs to babysit this economy and our lives. I think we need to get big government away, totally away.
Well, you're definitely at odds with that statement with the President of the United States. I got to ask you this, Congressman. Shockingly to me, this is supposed to be a job speech tour. And yesterday, the President says, well, there's going to be no jobs created by the implementation of the Keystone Pipeline. Well, what exactly did he mean by that?
Only the President of the United States knows the answer to that question. There was, and by the way, I am a strong supporter, a strong proponent of the Keystone Pipeline. There are estimates, literally, and these are not just business estimates. This is from the President's allies on the labor side. That's why I don't understand the President about this. Business and labor have come together and say minimum 30 to 50,000 shovel-ready jobs. I think this is the President, again, pandering to his radical environmental base. Time and again, he will pick certain issues and follow them out. This is ridiculous. We have an ally in Canada who has a commodity that not only the nation needs, but the world needs, oil. And if we don't do it, China will buy it, someone else will buy it, it's going to go somewhere. It just defies common sense. But he's chosen this issue to dig in on. It has hurt him, again, not only with business leaders and construction leaders and manufacturers, it's hurt him like I think his immigration policies have with some of his own base.
You know what's interesting? There's no one today that could argue in opposition to the Alaskan pipeline. Now, if you go back to the 70s and you juxtapose this administration now back in time, if Obama was president and we had the kind of an EPA that we have now, don't you agree the Alaskan pipeline would have never been constructed?
Oh, I totally agree. It's amazing. I represent an area called Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where the Manhattan Project was built.
Yes.
And it was built quickly. It was one of those things that Albert Einstein came to President Roosevelt and said, we've got to get this done to win the war, and we did it. Today, I don't think we would have gotten a shovel in the ground for 5 years if it had been President Obama and this EPA. And that's why I have worked very hard to make sure that we work to rein in the EPA. EPA is out of control. Their regulations just keep pouring in and smothering American businesses. And let's face it, I'm not a no-regulation person, but we need common-sense, minimal regulations created by people who understand the businesses they're regulating. Under this administration, you'll have somebody who knows absolutely nothing about the business they're regulating, and they just pour these on to these businesses. There's a war on coal in this country that needs to be stopped. There's a war on energy exploration that needs to be stopped. We can be energy independent in the United States and in North America. We've got coal, oil, natural gas in abundance. Let's go out and get it. But we're not going to get there until we either convince this president that he's wrong or that the American people stand up and say again in these upcoming midterm elections, Mr. President, you're wrong. Keep us in good stead in the House, which I think we'll keep, and let's get the United States Senate back and let's get real change in America.
That's the only answer to this mess. Congressman, we're almost out of time. Final question. I want to go Tennessee specific. What is the state of Tennessee doing with the Obamacare exchanges? Is it being set up internally, or have you guys turned that over like we have to the feds?
I believe Governor Haslam made the decision to turn it over to the feds, but that's like giving you a choice. I felt so bad for our state legislators. That's like giving you a choice. Do you want to get shot by a gun or by an arrow? Either way, you lose. Obamacare is a disaster for this country. I think you're seeing Obamacare, and I'm a guy that's voted to either repeal or defund it 40 times, but it's falling apart all by itself. And what I've predicted, as this president gets further into his second term and his tenure begins to wane, you're going to see not only Republicans, but you're going to start seeing more and more Democrats stand up and say, look, this law is bad for America. It's bankrupting America. It's the wrong way to go. The first term, they were afraid to do it. More and more folks are starting to say this is a train wreck. What we've really got to do, we're seeing the employer mandate right now being delayed a year. I voted to delay the whole thing. If it's good enough to make a delay for employers, it's good enough to delay it for the American people. We really need to get back to real health care reform in America, which is what we needed. We didn't need Obamacare, but it's falling apart, and it's falling apart in huge chunks.
That's a disaster and a train wreck, no question. Hey, we're out of time. We want to thank you for joining us today. Congressman Chuck Fleischman from Tennessee's 3rd District. He's a Republican. He's fighting the good fight up there, trying to bring a little slice of Tennessee to Washington, D.C. Not easy to do.
Absolutely, and I look forward to driving through your great state. I'll be coming down 81 and stopping along the way, so wish the best to all the great folks in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
I'll do that, and my final word is, let's go Titans.
There you go.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks. Bye now.